Morning, it's Sunday, so it's time for another Nissan Pulse update. So today we're going to be looking at fitting a dash cam in the car. I had two in the lay-on before. There were two cheap eBay specials. They were about 30 quid each, 40 quid each. I had one in the front and one in the rear, but I've decided to upgrade, and basically I've upgraded to this, which is a Nextbase a 412GW. Now this particular one, I think it's online at about £120, £125. We managed to find it on sale on Amazon for about £100. I decided to upgrade because this one, it logs things like your exact GPS, G-force sensors, your speed. The interface is quite good. My mum's got one in her car, so when she had an accident a few months ago, it's quite handy, much more reliable and a lot better than the cheap ones you get on eBay. But fitting it's the same, so it doesn't matter what kind of dash cam you've got. You can either fit it, use the cigarette lighter, or hardwire it, and I'll be hardwiring this in so it comes on automatically. You don't have to worry about it, and all your wires are hidden. So yeah, we'll get into that now, and I'll show you how to wire this in. Yeah, so wiring it in is quite simple. Basically, all you got to do is you can buy a hardwiring kit. I think they're about £5–10 on eBay, or you can make up the kit yourself. All you need if you're making your own kit is a adder fuse, and you also need, I think they call it a step down, so it steps the voltage from the 12 volts down to just the 5 volts that you need for this, and I'll show you what that looks like. So basically this is the wiring kit I had in the lay-on. That's the adder fuse, but that's a standard size fuse. This pulser uses a mini or micro low profile fuse, and that's your step down. Essentially what you do is the 12 volt on this, which is this side, that's your earth, and then you connect the adder fuse to the power, and then on this side, which is the 5 volt, you just tape up or solder in, as I've done, the taping's poor, the power and earth cables for your hardwire. So as I say, a hardwire kit will contain everything to go right to the camera. If you just buy the adder fuse and the step down, then all you do is just snip off the cigarette lighter, which is what I did with the two eBay cameras from the lay-on. So one of these is long enough to run to the back and one to the front. So I'll be using this. I just need to, first of all, I need to snip this off and change it to a mini or a micro. I've got the right one, but I need to change it to a low profile adder fuse to fit in this one. So I'll be back in a moment. Right, so now I've wired in the adder fuse. That's it. You just need a 3 amp fuse for the camera. You can see that's a micro, and this is the one I had in my last car. This is a huge size difference between the fuses. So yeah, you just want to make sure you've got the right fuses for your car. And the next thing what you want to do is obviously locate where your fuses are. In the lay-on and I think the other VAG cars and V-dubs and whatnot, there's a side panel down here, which is on the passenger side if you're UK, or obviously if you're left-hand drive car, it's in the driver's side. Fortunately, it's in the same place on the Pulsar, and I think also the Nissan, the Duke, the Qashqai, and that probably means also the Renaults as well. But if you're unsure where your fuses are, just check the owner's manual, and once you've located your fuses, on the inside there'll be a diagram as to what fuse powers what. So really you're looking, you can use a multimeter. If not, just look for a fuse where there's only power going to that part, that element, when the car's turned on. So you don't want the power constantly running all the time when the car's off, otherwise you're just going to drain your battery. So I think I found one which is for second from bottom. It's the washer pump, so something like that's quite easy. Yeah, that only works when the ignition's turned on. So once your ignition's on, power to the washer pump will be sent, and also to the camera. Speaking of which, I'm not actually showing you the camera yet, so let's have a quick look at that. So as I say, this is the camera I bought, Nextbase 412GW. The reason I got this, as I say, my mum had this one in her car and she got in an accident, and it came in quite useful. So in this you get your camera, which I believe is 1440p, so it's a bit better than 1080. You get a suction mount, and you also get a sticky mount. that's your cigarette lighter for power, if that's how you wish to power it, and then a USB cable. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and basically try and wire all this in now, and I'll try and show you along the way what we're doing. So yeah, down here, this is where I'm looking at adding the fuse. It's just one down there. You also need to ground it, so I'm hoping I can use this screw up here, and there's also a screw down there. So yeah, make sure you've also found a location where you can actually ground the wire as well. So I'm just going to fit that now. Unfortunately, I've got nowhere to put the camera, so I'm just going to switch off and show you in a moment when it's wired in. Right, so as you can see, I've the voltage reducer, I've just double-sided tape down there. The earth cable is on a screw there, and the adder fuse is just connected to the washer fuse. You can see the rest of the wire here, and we'll go ahead and sort that in a moment. So what you want to do next, get in the car, is make sure whatever fuse you've piggybacked onto, make sure the function works. So in this case it's the washer jets, and then also make sure it powers the dash cam as well, and then check them both at the same time. Just make sure you've not messed up any wiring. You don't want to tuck all that away and finish off your wiring and then everything's just a mess. So when you tuck it behind here, it's just a case of pushing it under the roof line and under the headlining. So it's quite easy. If you're worried about it dropping down, I have seen a little trick where you can just wrap some cable ties around and snip them off, wrap the cable ties up to get rid of the sharp edges, and it just creates a little like nub to stop it falling out. But I never had a problem in the lay-on. So basically trace this all the way back. You've noticed as well, I've put my dash cam behind the mirror just so it's not distracting, and I did want it on the glass. If you've got these textured lumps here, you're going to need to use a 3M sticky pad that comes with it. The suction mount won't stick, it'll just drop off. Sometimes these are smooth. I know in the Qashqai, a guy at work, he's got one, and the bumps here, they're not bumps, they're smooth. So he can just use his suction mount there and that'd be fine. I wanted to use a suction mount, but then it's just going to be distracting either for me or just in passenger's view. So yeah, you might have to use a 3M mount, but yeah, just trace the cable in back all the way. You might get some tricky parts. Just take your time and work it round. So I've run the cable obviously from the camera around the back of the base plate for the mirror and alongside, and try and get it behind the cable there, up under the roof lining, which you can't see. Tuck it into that corner, which is a bit tight. If you grab this here, you can pull that back, this trim back, and tuck the cable down there. Route that all the way down this side here, we've got a bit left, and then we'll eventually get to here, which is where obviously the cable is going to get tucked away back behind that panel. I thought I'd quickly show you, this is what the dash cam looks like from the driver's side. So yeah, you can literally just see that little bit up there. So yep, don't get in the way at all. And from passenger side, that's about it. So yeah, distraction free, and really that's what you want. You don't want to be part, if you don't want to be watching your dash cam. So nice mirror there just to hide it behind. Yeah, cool. So yeah, really it's as simple as that. If you buy the Hardwire kit, there's literally nothing for you to do other than plug and play. Yeah, you've got to remove a panel, find out which fuse, but there's no soldering, no actual wiring yourself to do it. It'll all be done. If you're doing it my way, just because I've got all the kit ready from when I did it in the lay-on, you've just got to splice a couple of wires together to get your adder fuse connected to the voltage converter, and that's about it really. Yeah, and then the rest of it's just a case of hiding your wires. So that's pretty much how you wire it in. I'll show you some footage in a moment of what it looks like from this dash cam. So yeah, as always, if you've liked this video, then make sure you hit that like button. If you've not liked it, then feel free to dislike it, and we've got more videos coming up, so if you want to see any more, just hit that subscribe button as well, and you get notifications if you click the bell icon. So yeah, we'll see you next week, and enjoy this footage of the dash cam.